Major Hurricane Erin is about to become a massive hurricane over the next couple days, and unfortunately, folks, we continue to see ticks in the wrong direction. Here to give you the latest. Thank y'all for joining me this evening as we do. First thing we'll go over is current conditions with Hurricane Erin out here in the Atlantic. We'll go over the latest from the National Hurricane Center. We'll go over all model guides that continues to suggest those ticks to the west. We know that the further west this gets, the more impact it's going to bring to the eastern seaboard. So we got to go over that, cover it, and then we'll discuss potential impacts. We'll get very detailed on that. And then there's another area to watch after Erin, a tropical wave that has a shot to develop. In fact, it has a 60% chance now to develop sometime between now and the next 7 days. Could this become our next named storm? It absolutely could. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Let's get going this evening. So this is Hurricane Erin here on your screen. We got the Turks Caicos Islands down here. We got the Bahamas. This is bringing some impacts right now. You know, this thing did not really get its act together today. It did strengthen. Technically right now, still a Category 4 storm. So still a very strong hurricane, but no cleared out eye. I'll be honest with you, I thought this would be a little bit more impressive as far as that cleared out eye by the time we did a video this evening. But here we are. It is still struggling to fully clear out the center, the eye of this hurricane, but still very cold cloud tops wrapping around the center of low pressure. And this is, of course, still a major hurricane. Like I said, Bahamas here, Turks Caicos Islands, this is finally starting to very slowly crawl to around the northwest right now. But, the thing has been, why is this taking so long to turn? Is it creeping further west than we thought? It is. It is ticking, whether you want to call it a wobble, whatever you want to call it. Model guidance continues to sort of correct itself because, Erin has pretty much been a little bit further west in real time, right? So this is current conditions with the system. Let's go over the latest from the National Hurricane Center. This is around the 5 p.m. update. Currently still a 140 mile per hour hurricane, 937 millibars. So, for a Category 4 hurricane, you would expect a little bit more of a cleared out eye than what it has, but it is still packing some very strong winds. The wind field has broadened because it did undergo that eye wall replacement cycle. We talk about that, right? The inner eye wall basically collapses, and then the outer eye wall becomes the new inner eye wall, and that weakens the storm temporarily, whether that's for 6 hours or 24 hours. Erin took a long time to do it. What happens after that is as an opportunity to re-intensify again, and the wind field actually expands as far as the strongest winds actually expand out away from the center of the storm, and that's what's occurring with this system right now. But like I said, a 140 mile per hour Category 4 hurricane. We continue to have tropical storm warnings up for the Turks Caicos Islands, southeast Bahamas. We have tropical storm watches up for like the central Bahama Islands. It's saying that by the time we get into 2 p.m. tomorrow, still a Category 4 storm. Okay, so 130 mile per hour Category 4 hurricane still. It's probably going to downgrade to a Category 3, but still a major hurricane. And then let's just go on and fast forward to right here. Okay, let's put my cursor here. This is around 2 a.m. Thursday. So still a major Category 3 hurricane. Now, I do think a lot of people get confused, and they think that, hey, if I'm, let's draw on this a little bit. If I'm in this, let's get it right here. If I'm in this area, I'm good. I'm not going to see any impacts at all because I'm not in the cone. Bermuda, no impacts. We're not going to get any impacts over here at all. That is not true. This cone is not the impact cone. Okay, this is where the center of circulation could go. So this could take the further west track this way. This could take the further east track this way. This is where the center of the storm goes. So if this was to take the further west track, then that means more impacts will be further to the west. Further east track, more impacts further to the east. So I hope that makes sense. So, and honestly, it explains itself. We got tropical storm watches up now for the Outer Banks and areas of eastern North Carolina. So, and you guys are not in the cone. It's a few hundred miles off the coastline. But the impacts are going to expand way far out away from the center of this storm. Okay, but is places like Newfoundland in the cone yet? Nova Scotia? No, not yet, but I could definitely see southeast Newfoundland eventually getting this cone. But this thing is going to get even larger. It's going to lose its tropical characteristics and basically go what we call post-tropical, but it still is going to be a powerful low pressure as it gets further north in the North Atlantic. So pretty wild stuff to see tropical storm watches up. And, if you've been tuning in for a while, I'm probably not the only one that said this, But we've pretty much have known for a while that we were going to get some sort of tropical storm watch, and eventually this will get upgraded to a tropical storm warning, no doubt here, especially with these ticks west that we continue to see. So this is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Let's go over all model guides. Latest from the Euro. I do want to mention a little bit that the Euro intensifies Erin overnight. I do want to say, if I say Ian at any time, I definitely do not mean to say Ian. I think I did that a couple times over the last few videos. I'm definitely meaning to say Erin, obviously. But Erin down here, as we're waking up tomorrow morning, wants to drop this back into the 19s as far as millibars. So it really wants to strengthen this again. But let's focus more so on the track. So we get into tomorrow morning. Okay, we get it into Wednesday morning. Okay, 12Z WED stands for Zulu time for Wednesday morning. Okay. Still a very strong hurricane. Look how broad it is. I mean, it almost looks like we're getting some outer bands all the way to the Carolina and Georgia coastline. I definitely think we'll get them to the North Carolina coastline. And then we start to get into Wednesday evening, and this looks to almost intensify again. And then we start to get into the middle of the night, Wednesday night into Thursday, and I think this is when things can really go downhill out in the Outer Banks, which, by the way, mandatory evacuations are underway in the Outer Banks. People are leaving. So this system begins to make its closest pass, and it's actually close enough now to bring some just flat out outer bands. I mean, even to the eastern North Carolina, west of the Outer Banks into eastern North Carolina, southeast Virginia. I mean, this is a powerful storm system. And it's wild to me that it kind of weakens the system, then it like re-intensifies it here into a 911 millibar low. I mean, one would argue that's a Category 5 hurricane Thursday morning. So I want to see if that's actually legit. Pretty wild stuff, but it makes a very close pass, guys. And listen, tropical storm force wind gusts are definitely going to be, even though you're thinking, man, that's just green, that's not going to be that bad. I'm telling you, we're going to get some strong winds off this. What about the Northeast? Here it comes. It looks like it's going to miss, but listen, the wind field is going to extend way out here. So we're going to get some strong, gusty winds from, basically the Tidewater through the Delmarva, the coastal areas of New Jersey, Long Island, southern New England, heck, probably all the way into the coastal areas and down east areas of Maine. Probably some strong, gusty winds. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop some tropical storm watches up for Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, southeast Mass, Cape Cod. We got to see what happens, but it definitely does miss you guys well to the southeast. What about Newfoundland? Nova Scotia, I think you're good, some gusty winds, but we get into Sunday. It's crazy how the timing has went back and forth, right? Once upon a time, we thought this was going to move in like Friday night. Well, it really rips apart this storm, but the Euro has moved a little bit further north, so it tries to sneak a little bit of action into like St. John, Avalon Peninsula, but for the most part, it does miss the southeast. What about the latest GFS? This is going to blow your mind here. Tuesday morning, strong hurricane. Wednesday morning continues to move north. It's basically Wednesday morning as we're waking up between the southeast coastline, the Bahamas, and Bermuda. And then we start to get into, this is late Wednesday night, basically right in the middle of Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Okay, major hurricane off the coast of the Carolinas and between Bermuda, well west of Bermuda. Makes its closest pass here. Look how close this is to the outer banks. You get them twisted together, don't you? Now, I want to go about 10 runs back. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 10 runs ago. That's about 2.5 days of GFS runs ago, if that makes sense. Let's take it all the way to the current run. Look at this trend. That is one heck of a west trend. Something we don't want to see. It has continued to trend. How much further is it going to trend? Do I think that this is going to make a landfall into the outer banks? I don't. But we don't need to get this any closer, folks. We don't, because the wind field is expanding. It's getting much larger, and it's going to extend even deeper into areas of the eastern seaboard. But it makes its closest pass Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then it starts to truck it northeast. And then looking at the GFS, how close does this get, say, to southeast Mass, Martha's Vineyard? It's well offshore, but still going to get some gusty winds. And then, what about Newfoundland? Here it comes up here, and it is a big whiff. Definitely misses you guys. Good news there. So let's go over some of these hurricane models, right? So, the green area that you see, right here, the green surrounding the yellow, red, purple, that's tropical storm force winds, 40 mile per hour wind gust or higher. Once you start to get into the purple area right here around this low pressure, that's hurricane force wind gust. Okay, that's winds, in excess of 74, 75 miles per hour. Watch how this wind field expands on this run. Okay, we start to get into Wednesday morning. Look how much larger it is already in the next 36 hours. Okay, we start to get into Wednesday night, and it looks like we're already starting to see tropical storm force wind gusts in eastern North Carolina, the Outer Banks. And then it just, you get some 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, Cape Hatteras, Rodant, the Outer Banks. I mean, look how close just 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts are to the Outer Banks here in the red area. Just and the wind field continues to expand. I mean, look, we got tropical storm force wind gusts potentially trying to sneak really close to Long Island, Southeast Mass. It's just the wind field is huge with this. I mean, it gets even larger. Look, it's trying to get close to, what is it? Cape Breton. What's the other one? Anyways, don't want to get too hung up on it. Nova Scotia. Almost got the Atlantic Canada areas memorized here. You guys are so nice up here, so I'm sure you'll correct me in a very nice way. But I think you're going to get tropical storm force conditions in southeast Newfoundland because the wind field is so large. What about the HFB model? Same thing. Wind field gets massive, guys. Look at this. So as we're getting into Thursday morning, tropical storm force conditions, no doubt, into the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Even some gusty winds further inland. And just look at the wind field getting huge. So, one thing I do want to show you is the actual what it thinks the radar is going to look like off the HFA model. And, I mean, look how close it is to the Outer Banks. I mean, there's the eye of the hurricane, right? And look how some of these banding features are starting to get to the Outer Banks. I just want to kind of give you an idea of how close it gets. Now, when we're talking about flat-out impacts, let's start it off in the short term, then go to the long term. So the Euro for the Bahamas over the next 24 hours, heads up, 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gust. Okay, right through. Of course, if you're in the further east you are in the Bahamas, the most easternmost islands, the more impacts you're going to see. I mean, look how sharp this wind gradient is. I mean, once you start to get in some of these grays, guys, I mean, that's 125, 145 mile per hour wind gusts. I mean, it's a category 4 hurricane right at your doorstep. So thankfully, this is not. We still need to watch short-term trends also, guys. We do. So, what about the GFS? It's a little bit further away, but some strong gusty winds in the Bahamas. And then let's go ahead and look at the Carolinas. I mean, look at the Outer Banks now, going for 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts based off the latest Euro. Okay, that's crazy stuff. And we might actually have a new run. Let's see if we got a new run. We don't. But very strong wind gusts. And I mean, even inland, 30, 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts. I mean, we even got some gusty winds all the way back to Raleigh. Gusty winds into Wilmington. Look into the Tidewater now. Into Maryland, southeast VA, strong gusty winds. And you got just a hurricane force wind field just off the coastline. What about the latest GFS? It's not as close, but listen, if you go and look at like the GFS from 3 runs back, look how much further away it was. You look at the current run, look how closer that got. We don't need to just get any closer. This is 50, 55 mile per hour wind gusts out in the Outer Banks. And I mean, even some breezy northerly flow across the Carolinas. It's going to be a very breezy second half of the work week. Now we look a little bit further up the road and, southern New England, the mid-Atlantic coastal areas, and look at the Jersey Shore. I mean, we got, what is this? We got 40, 50, even 60 mile per hour wind gusts just off the Jersey Shore. Strong gusty winds and Long Island, even Southeast Mass, Rhode Island. I could potentially see tropical storm watches being issued for Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Cape Cod. I mean, some strong gusty winds for sure. And what about the latest GFS? And, not quite as bad. And of course, let's show some love to Newfoundland. And you guys go off kilometers per hour. So, showing some 60 to maybe as much as 90 kilometer per hour winds. And we got some strong winds right off the southern coastline of Nova Scotia too. But all in all, it looks like this should miss you guys the brunt of it to the south. Okay, so, some of these graphics from the actual National Hurricane Center, let's make sure we don't have any new updated graphics. It's just, we don't. So, I mean, this is chances to see 40 mile per hour winds. Okay, so right now Outer Banks is at about a 30 to 40% chance. But I think this could scoot even further to the west. I think this is very conservative. So we could get tropical storm force wind gusts. I mean, maybe even the South Carolina coastline up into the Maryland coastline, Delaware. And then the timing of this is what it looks like. So if you need to pause it here, you can. And look, they're even going for storm surge now. They're calling for 2 to 4 feet of storm surge from Duck to Cape Lookout. Includes basically the furthest east standing out areas of the Outer Banks. I mean, even 1 to 3 feet of storm surge for like the Grand Strand, all the way up through Wilmington, Carolina Beach, all the way up into areas of the Tidewater. So storm surge is likely. Now, let's see if we have a new graphic from our fine folks at the National Weather Service out of Newport Moorhead. And yeah, I mean, we have tropical storm watches up. Here's some graphics for this area for you folks that live here. And this is predicted wind gusts, and this is the latest graphic, a maximum wind gusts that are possible in eastern areas of North Carolina. But we could definitely see this uptick more, for sure. And I think they had another cool graphic here. Here it is, highest coastal flood risk. You need to pause it here, you can read over it. But just wanted to kind of give you guys just some extra information here. So let's make sure we don't have any further updates from this. Still 140 mile per hour storm. I like to try to catch the latest information, but it does not look like we do. So let's go on and move past this, and let's talk about this next area of interest that we're watching. So tropical wave located right where this orange X is has a 60% chance to develop somewhere in this orange area within the next 7 days into a depression or a named storm. And there's a discussion. A tropical depression could form by the end of this week, maybe into this weekend. So we certainly need to watch this. And let's go over the latest satellite loop on this. And this is basically the energy that we are watching right into here. Basically this just unorganized area of shower and storm activity. So, I mean, guys, it's already getting close. I mean, there's the eastern half of Hurricane Erin already getting close to, it's not close, but, this isn't a wave that's just coming off Africa anymore, is what I'm trying to say. So latest GFS, what does it show? Let's start off in the MDR, main development region. This is the energy right here. Let's move this in time. Latest GFS really keeps this wave weak. Has another wave behind it. So we get into Thursday, we get into Friday, and let's stop it here. And let's jump into this. Does it develop this wave? Latest GFS keeps this pretty weak. And it finally does develop it here. 1,007 millibar low. This is getting into next Monday. Is today Monday? Yeah, today's Monday. It's about a week from today. And it does. It starts to develop a tropical system rapidly between the day 7 and day 10 time frame. So this is next Wednesday. All of a sudden the GFS is taking a very weak wave right here. And watch how fast it develops it. Once it gets into this area right here, develops it into a major hurricane and then scrapes the Carolina coastline. Now, that's not a forecast. Please don't tell everybody and your cousins, uncles, dogs, pet frog that Mitch said there's going to be a hurricane right off the Carolina coastline again in 10 days. That's not what I'm saying. It's just one run. It's an interesting run, though. And, if my folks up here further to the northeast that wants to see the rest of this run, here it is. You definitely don't want to see anything like this. Come on, you're going to move for me. There we go. Whew. That's a crazy run. I'm sure that'll get social media buzzing. But what about the Euro? It continues to have a wave here. Very light development from it, but doesn't do anything like the GFS. But there is something. It has trended a little bit more aggressive. We get into Sunday, just a weak tropical disturbance, and then it gets pushed on out. Doesn't really develop it. What about the Euro AI model? Here it is, Friday morning, August the 22nd. Takes this, develops into it like a weak tropical storm, but then flings it on out to sea. So I will tell you the GFS is the only one that's just really holding true to this, at least the operational run, to this just going right into landmass as far as the U.S. But the Euro ensemble, ignore this up here. This is Erin. Focus down here. The Euro ensemble makes up 51 members. So we're starting this off Thursday midday and already has a ton of members right here, at least half. So there is definitely a signal for a tropical system into here. And we take it about a week out. We got a pretty large spread. And I know it's kind of blending in with Erin, but I mean, we got a spread right here. And this is a signal that starts off here and then gets into this area, and once Erin's on out the way, we can get all this clutter out the way, but pretty stout signal for something right into there. Now, we can look at the GFS ensemble also, but we only have about 90 hours out, so we'll have to flip it back. Let's look at this. We'll have to flip it back to the 12Z run. Come on, work for me. And let's just go on and skip it to about 1 week out. What does it show? Remember, this only makes up 21 members, so naturally you're not going to see as many L's. But I mean, they follow each other. The Euro ensemble and the GFS ensemble gets a wave and tries to develop it right in this area. 1 week from today, we could be talking about another tropical system. Next name is Fernand. Okay, so that's pretty much all the information we got on that. There's no point in getting super more detailed than that. But hey, didn't tell you I was going to talk about this, but I want to throw this in because this excited your boy Mitch a ton. I am all about tracking cold fronts in August and early September, and I live here in central South Carolina, and something about that first cold front, I think we all can relate. It makes you want to bring down the fall decorations from the attic. It gets you excited and wants you to light a nice, this candle's maple hazelnut. I'm telling you, these DW home candles are phenomenal. TJ Maxx, they're very cheap there, in my opinion they are, but look at this. Anyways, I'm getting off track. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from August 24th through the 28th. Not only are they going for the chance of below average temperatures, I mean, they got a high probability of it, especially across the Great Lakes region. Man, honestly, this could be a cold front that kind of kickstarts the beginning stages of some of these leaves to begin to change, especially up here in the UP of Michigan, way up here in the northeast corner of Minnesota. Some of these areas that the leaves certainly start to get colorful deeper into September. But this is a beautiful sight, guys. Cold front's on the way, and best way to really look for a cold front this time of the year is dew points. Dew points in the 60s, 70s, very humid air. Dew points in the 50s or lower, dry air. So this is a representation of the Euro. And look, as we get into around this time next week, it's quite obvious we got some sort of cold front working through this area. Huge shot of dry air shooting down. How far south does this penetrate? Boy, oh boy, it gets all the way down there. I mean, it's going to be tough to get a cold front to Florida this time, and you got to get into October down there. But look at this dry air mass, and this has longevity to it also. I mean, I'm telling you, we have gotten some nice cold fronts in late August, early September across the eastern U.S. the last few years. It's funny, a lot of people have a short-term memory about that kind of stuff. I don't. I love a late August, early September cold front. So there's a bit of good news. Everybody's thinking that, all of us YouTubers are trying to pump fear into people, this, that, and the other. Listen, at the end of the day, we just want you to click on the video. Now, I'm not going to sit here and promote fear mongering. That's not what we do. But, one thing we want people to do is just be aware of what's going on. So, you want to try to catch people's attention. You want people to be plugged in with the latest information. And of course, naturally, when you put in the work to put these videos together, you really want people to watch your stuff because you put in a lot of work in it. So, a lot of people are just thinking that and I can't speak for other people. I can speak for myself. I'm not doing it. All we're trying to do is give you the latest information. We're trying to say, hey, we could get some ticks west with Erin. We got another system behind it. We need to watch out. You got to stay aware. And that's the reason why I make 2 videos a day, guys, because I want you guys to get the updated information, not just once a day, but twice a day. So here's a little bit of good news. Cold front on the way. If you don't consider a cold front this time of the year good news, I don't really have anything really for you. God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful night. Appreciate the growth. I'll try to get caught up with comments tomorrow. I will try my darndest. God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful night. We'll do it again tomorrow morning.